Hey everyone, in this video we're exploring South Dakota. Our first stop upon arriving in Rapid City was the town of Deadwood, located 45 minutes away. This town is mainly known for its history with the Gold Rush era, as well as its preserved architecture from the late 19th century. Our main reason for visiting South Dakota was the Mount Rushmore National Monument. Mount Rushmore is roughly 30 minutes away from Rapid City in the Black Hills of South Dakota. The monument features Presidents George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. We visited the National Monument in the middle of April at 8:30 a.m. and upon arriving it was pretty much empty and created a tranquil experience walking up to the National Monument. So we got to Mount Rushmore. It's like 8:30 in the morning and it's so cool to be here in person. It is truly an unimaginable experience being there in person. We did the Presidential Trail, which is about a 0.6-mile loop that reveals different angles. We also visited the Lincoln Borglum Visitor Center, where we read more about the creation of the monument itself. And a little fun fact that we read was that the most crucial people who played a role in carving the heads were those designated as the pointers. There are various things to do at Mount Rushmore. You can do the Presidential Trail, visit the Sculptor's Studio, you can visit the Lincoln Borglum Visitor Center. There's also the Carver's Cafe located in the park. Mount Rushmore is a great place to educate yourself on the history of its creation. After spending the morning at Mount Rushmore, we were off to drive the Needles Highway, located in the Black Hills. The Needles Highway is particularly in Custer State Park and is a 14-mile road that takes you through the majestic pine trees and forest, as well as up close to the unique rock formations. This is the smallest tunnel. It's the Needle Eye Tunnel. We're about to drive through it. The two small tunnels located on the Needles Highway are the Needles Eye Tunnel, which is the smallest of the tunnels, and then there's the Iron Creek Tunnel. The tunnels are pretty narrow, so definitely make sure whatever vehicle you're driving can fit through the tunnels. I believe we only drove through the Needle Eye Tunnel, and the other tunnel shown in this video was named the Hood Tunnel. It wasn't too bad. Oh, there's a car coming through there right now. The Needles Highway is partially named after the rock formation that can be found right outside the west side of the Needles Eye Tunnel, which distinctly looks like the eye of a needle. We drove east past the Needles Eye Tunnel for about 10 minutes before turning back and heading to Sylvan Lake to start our hike for that day. Custer State Park. We're about to start the Black Elk Peak Trail. It starts at Sylvan Lake. Black Elk Peak is the highest point in South Dakota and stands about 7,242 feet tall. It was previously known as Harney Peak and is surrounded by the beautiful Black Elk Wilderness. There are various hikes that lead up to the peak. We did the shortest hike, which can be found by starting at Trail 9 by Sylvan Lake. Taking this route, it was a 7.7-mile round-trip hike and it was approximately 4 hours. So we're about 1.5 miles into the trail. The trail goes up and down, and right now we're going downhill, which is a little easier than the uphill part, but I did see on the All Trails map that there's about to be a steep incline coming up soon, so hopefully it's not too bad. But yeah, there's so much trees out here, so many tall trees. It's really pretty. Taking this route up to the peak, it'll be about 11,000 feet of elevation change. The trail is pretty difficult since most of the hike is at an incline. We're about 1.8 miles in, and I think we're starting the steep incline up to the peak, and it's pretty muddy. There's snow melting, so it's making the ground really muddy. Once you get to the last mile at the top, the views are pretty stunning. It really makes the hike worth it. We're almost there. The view, when you get to the top, or close to the top, it's really pretty. Located at the top of the peak is a stone fire tower that was built in 1938 by the Civilian Conservation Corps. The fire tower is non-operational today, and visitors are welcome to explore the inside while also being mindful not to destroy it. This was probably one of the most challenging hikes we did up to date, but the experience really made it worth it. The next day, we went to explore Badlands National Park. The Badlands are located about an hour away from Rapid City. Please note to use the address listed on the NPS website. I'll also have it written in the description. Your phone's GPS will not take you to the appropriate entrance for the national park. The Badlands are particularly known for their natural rock formations and for being one of the world's richest beds for fossils. Just got to Badlands National Park and we're at the big Badlands Overlook. It looks really cool. Let me turn this around. We first stopped at the big Badlands Overlook, which allows you to view the eastern wall of the Badlands. The Badland Wall separates the lower and upper prairies, which consists of the rock formations that the Badlands are quite well known for. We then headed south down the Badlands Loop Road to the Windows Trail. The Door, Window, and the Notch Trail all lead from the same parking lot, which was very convenient for us as it was the 3 trails we had planned for the day. We started by doing the Window Trail, which is about 0.2 miles long and takes you to a naturally formed window viewpoint of the Badlands Wall and the canyon. After the Window Trail, we headed back to the parking lot, where we started the Notch Trail, which is one of the more popular hikes in the Badlands. The hike is a 1.5 mile round trip, and is considered to be moderate to strenuous due to the rocky terrain, and can be treacherous during extreme weather such as heavy rain or snow. So be mindful of the weather before heading out to the trail. There is a portion of the hike that takes you up a log ladder. There are also sections of the trail that have exposed ledge cliffs. Some of these ledge portions are very narrow, which is something to be aware of if you're afraid of heights. The end of the hike gives you an incredible view of the vastness of the land and the rock formations. The last trail we did was the Door Trail. Both the Door and the Window Trail are wheelchair accessible. The Door Trail is particularly wheelchair accessible for the first 100 meters and gives you complete panoramic views of the Badlands. Beyond this point, the maintained portion of the trail ends, and you can descend into what is known as the Badlands bedrocks. From here, you just follow the yellow post markers out 800 meters through the rocks. However, after this point, you'd hike at your own risk. After the Doors Trail, we headed south down the Badlands Loop Road and followed it past the Visitor Center, where you make a right to continue on the Loop Road. This takes you up west through the park. There are various viewpoints you can stop at along the way. We stopped at the Fossil Exhibit Trail, which is a fully accessible boardwalk trail that features replicas of fossils that can be found in the area and creatures that are extinct that once lived in the Badlands. The bands of the rock in the Badlands represent the climate change throughout millions of years, and within these different layers there are fossils of that time frame. The oldest rock layers that were found at the bottom of the formations contain marine fossils that date back 75 million years ago when the area was underwater, which is pretty interesting to think about. We stopped at various points on the scenic drive before heading out the Pinnacles entrance station of the park, where we headed up to Wall Drug, a popular point of interest that offers dining, souvenir shops, and of course their 5-cent coffee and their fresh donuts. The last day, we had time for one more quick stop at Wind Cave National Park. On the NPS website, it mentions that Wind Cave National Park protects two very diverse worlds, one deep within the earth, and one a sunlit world of many resources. This perfectly encompasses the idea of the park's complex cave below and the grassland above, where the wildlife such as bison, elk, prairie dogs, and other animals live. Since we were unable to go on a tour, we opted to do the scenic drive up Highway 87. We did stop to do the trail up to the fire tower at Racken Ridge. On a clear day, the Badlands are visible from this point. We were not lucky enough to get a first-come, first-served ticket on the day of at the visitor center, so definitely book your cave tours well in advance as they do sell out very fast online as well. As we drove north out of the park, it started to snow and we spotted some bison. It was very fascinating to experience such drastic changes of weather throughout our time in South Dakota, but it did create an amazing and unique trip. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss where we're headed to next.